Early on, when the first new residents were moving into their apartments in Charlestown, Ruth Houck, in Building 2, volunteered to start a library on Main Street. Decades later, our volunteer Charlestown Library carries on her legacy. There is one gem found in no other library. In the first alcove to the left of our volunteer librarian's desk, there are 2 shelves of books and pamphlets by our own Charlestown authors. There are just 75 books by 41 authors, but they offer a wealth of subjects.
The Rising Sun Sets is basically an eyewitness account of the bombing of Nagasaki, the second mission over Japan. It was originally generated by the guy that was the only guy that was on both the Enola Gay and the boxcar on both the Hiroshima and Nagasaki raids. He started this, cancer intervened, and I picked up from him and coupled the portions that he had written together, and we published it as a paperback book.
T.O. Manuel told us about the fishing trip. They had a big catch of yellowfish and flounder and cod, and now they were back for a few days, and they were going to mend their nets and fix up the boat. This coming weekend was the blessing of the fleet. Sunday they wanted to get the Alicia Maria all ship-shape for Sunday. On Saturday, we all went down to help work on the boat. There would be a prize for the best decorated ship. Below decks, there was a galley the size of my mom's kitchen. It had plenty of room for the 6 crewmen to eat. Beyond the galley were 3 cabins. In each little room, there were double-deck beds and a storage space for the crew's gear. Up on the bridge, it looked like the cockpit of an airplane. There were all kinds of dials and radar screens. Now that's where the pilot stands. T.O. Manuel let me hold the huge wheel a little, and I pretended that I was the captain of a ship and I was going out onto the Atlantic Ocean.
"Quick, get downstairs." Cassie Long rushed to the basement with her family for safety. How she hated war. For weeks she had worked hard, providing rebel and Union soldiers with food and shelter. Now all she could do was wait, unaware of how this war would change her life forever. This is Cassie's story, the adventures of a brave Maryland farm girl living just minutes from Antietam, the site of the fiercest battle ever fought in the Civil War. Never did she dream she would work alongside her hero Clara Barton in a makeshift hospital, meet President Lincoln, or help give the gift of freedom to a girl who would become her very best friend. Cassie was only 11 when the war tore apart her town, but she would meet its demands with the heart of a hero.
The modern history of Poland is engulfed in catastrophic tragedy. Neighbors to the east and the west united to annihilate the Polish state and enslave its people not just once in the 1790s, but again in my lifetime in 1939. I find it hard to comprehend that the perpetrators of these monstrous deeds were not Muslim terrorists, nor primitive pagans, but cultured Christian neighbors. The experience of the Polish people is not unlike that of the chosen people during one of the darkest periods of Jewish history, the Babylonian exile. The captives were totally helpless. Never again would they see the Holy Land. And yet, in the midst of their chaos, Deutero Isaiah preached a remarkable message of hope. Comfort, comfort my people, says your God. Speak tenderly to Jerusalem, and cry to her that her warfare is ended, that her iniquity is pardoned, that she has received from the Lord's hand double for all her sins.
Some sound after fog. Viking dragons blow across these pines, scorching flesh bared in pagan sacrifice to any god who brings hot sun to Maine and fair wind up Somes Sound to clear those hours when all ocean was in that air of fog. Our blind sloop sailed through troughs of emptiness. Those aching hours, our crew went dry and old, joints brittled by thick cold. Who could feel young? We missed Manana, where we thought we'd go ashore and gaze at runes carved in the rock by Norsemen drowned 1,000 years or more. Near Owl's Head, hearing hoots, we strained our eyes toward tasteless milk in constipated dawn and wondered if any men ashore were wise. Reaching down from Camden, clear of fog, we raised the proudest spinnaker ever flown, breasting a blue peace sign. All kids we passed cheered. The Maine Republic thought us neat. Now I wash my hair over the side and shout, no, I'm only American shampooing in a fjord. My child Mark belly broils. The child, now grown and sailing butter-soft Wisconsin lakes. Come, dragon, Viking dragons, eat me with your breath.
As soon as he saw cars waiting for Klansmen, Owen wanted to follow him but avoid recognition. He went into the store, waited his turn, and ordered a pound of coffee beans. When they were measured out into a small brown bag, he took the parcel out of the door. He paused by the bench to bid Ray and Dodsworth farewell, displaying the parcel. "I got the coffee Ruby wanted, so I'm headed home." "Well, now you've seen a clan march, what do you think of it?" "I think I don't need to see another. One is enough." Dodsworth grinned, furry false teeth. "This one is different. It had its spittin'. Say hello to your missus for me." "I sure will, and you remember me to Mrs. Dodsworth. So long." When Owen reached the vacant lot, the clan's cars were in line, and the last three marchers were climbing into the cars. Feeling conspicuous, Owen crawled behind the steering wheel. The driver of the first clan auto was no longer wearing a mask. It was clearly Arthur Stark.
We are the generation that learned by reading books.